to the Mobile County Public Schools Athletic Show. My name is Brad Lowell, District Athletic Director for the Mobile County Public Schools. Today we're here with Alma Bryant. We're here with Coach Hargett, volleyball coach. Coach, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of where you started and how you got to this point in your career.
Okay. I pretty much started at Bryant. This is my 9th year at Bryant. I started actually at an interim position at Saraland, and then after I completed that half a year there, I ended up interviewing with Mr. Estel at Bryant and ended up taking the volleyball position, and 9 years later I'm still here.
Awesome. So I mean, you're well accustomed to that area then, and
Yes.
and the kids that grown up well with the Grand Bay and the Alba kids coming in. Tell us a little bit about your program and you know, from kind of past and up to this year, and kind of your expectations and what you do within your program in general.
Okay. We actually a few years ago had about 7 of our seniors. I feel like out there sometimes, you know, we have so many kids graduate and then you have to rebuild.
Right.
So over the past couple of years since those seniors, we actually made history. 3 years ago, we ended up winning area the first time.
Awesome.
And that was 3 years ago, like I said, and we've kind of been rebuilding since then. Even this year, I don't have any seniors in my program, but I do have a lot of juniors that have experience because they've pretty much been playing varsity since their freshman seasons. So the last couple of years have been rebuilding years, but this year I think the girls have, you know, more confidence and,
Right.
you know, more experience really, even though we still, you know, technically have a young team with no seniors. So they work hard, and you know, I think the next couple of years is going to be good for them. So.
Well, good. And yeah, it comes in waves like that sometimes, where you get a big group of girls together that come in and then they become seniors. They've been your leaders for a couple of years, and then you come in with a new group. I know it's nice having a couple of true feeder patterns with Grand Bay and Alba to know those kids that are coming from there and then feeding into your program.
Right.
I know a lot of schools around here don't really have that.
Right.
But that, you know, that has to help a little bit.
Yes, it does. Definitely does, having, you know, the kids coming from both areas and not just feeding from that one school and then different programs, because we have, you know, athletes that come from those, you know, different schools, and it's been, you know, it's helped us in the past for that. So.
Well, tell us about the area you play in, because I know it's a tough area.
It is.
And highly competitive.
Yes, we are in, we're actually in a 5 area, Area 1, and it is us, it is Davidson, Theodore, MGM, and Baker. So we do end up playing, you know, all of those schools twice. So the majority, you know, of our matches and our games, I mean, half of our season goes towards our area play. So,
Yeah.
And it's very competitive. You know, anything can kind of happen, especially when you're playing that many area matches. And then, you know, you go to their place one time, and you know they have all their fans, and then, you know, the pressure's there, and then you come to your place. So really, anything can kind of happen, you know, during area play. So.
And I know a lot of times, and just being at a few of the volleyball games, it gets pretty intense in there at times.
It's a momentum sport for sure. I mean, 1 minute, you know, 5 points, you have the momentum, you're feeling good, and then the next, you know, 5 points it's a constant. It's very stressful as a coach.
No, it is.
But it's a fun sport for sure. So it's exciting, never boring.
No, it's not, and it moves quickly.
Right. Yes, it does.
I know, even watching just middle school and especially going to high school, it's a fast-paced sport.
Yes,
and like
it
you
is.
said, the change, I think a lot of times it becomes more mental of being able to handle the change of momentum mentally.
Right.
You know, stop the bleeding, I guess, and get back on track. I know it's pretty big.
Yes.
You know, what do you do like with your kids, and because they are high school kids, and how do you challenge them mentally to prepare for something like that?
You know, I'm pretty tough on my girls. I mean, they do work hard for me, but they know, in practice that I'm going to put them in situations where, there's pressure and, to get them out of their comfort zone. And, sometimes they hate that because, it's uncomfortable for them. But in the sport, and it's really the ultimate team sport. I mean, in one play, 3 different people on the court are going to touch the ball, at a time. So it's, you don't have really time to breathe, and you have to prepare your athletes for that. And I feel like, me pushing them and giving them situations in practice like that is only going to prepare them. So there's a lot of drills and things that we do where, they're high intensity pressure drills where, you are forced to either make an error or you're forced to either put balls away. I mean, and so we have, pretty intense practices just to prepare so they can transfer that, onto the court in games when it counts.
That makes a lot of sense because I think that's really important. I mean, to me, if you can somehow simulate practice being harder than a game situation, that will definitely transfer over to their game situation, not be as shocked, when things go bad or when it becomes really pressure, intense. I know sometimes with the girls that come in, you probably have, I didn't realize as much strategy is involved with volleyball than, over the past couple of years. And I guess sometimes you got big hitters, sometimes you don't. You got smaller, quicker kids, I mean, there's a lot of strategy involved.
Right. It's different every year at Bryant, unfortunately. We usually don't have very big kids. So, I do have to teach, my girls to be faster, especially at the net. We're facing bigger teams that have, bigger people at the net, and I have really, really small, girls. So our strategy is, we have to, run a fast offense, those types of things. And I know that because, over the past 9 years, I really haven't gotten very big kids, but I mean, they really work hard and they adjust to that. And when they work hard in practice, that hopefully transfers to the court. But the kids out there, they give me everything they have. So.
Yeah, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we got to go to break. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
And I appreciate you being here, and good luck.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be back.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well-balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
So, Nicholas, how was your day at school today?
It was great. We had fun in class today.
So, what did you do differently today at school? I mean, any new projects?
We got a progress report today.
You got your progress reports today? So, how did you do?
Don't know.
You don't know. That's okay. We can check that right here. Wow. Nicholas.
Do you have what it takes to be an Envision graduate? We are pioneering students to be all they can be, from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade.
I definitely would recommend Envision to other students who feel the way I feel. They really work with you, and they've gotten tutors, and you have online teachers to talk to.
It starts right here. It starts right now. Envision Virtual Academy. Enroll today.
All right, welcome back to our show. We're here with Coach Hain, head football coach. Coach, thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for having us.
I appreciate it. I know you've been coaching for a few years now. So kind of tell us a little bit about your background from where you started and then what's led you to Bryant High School.
Well, I played college ball at Lamb University in Jackson, Tennessee. So I started out there as a GA after I graduated. And from there I went to East Tennessee State University, coached there for a while. Did a little bit over in the European League and then started in high school. And I've done high school in Virginia, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Alabama.
Okay. And how long have you been at Alma Bryant so far?
This is my third season.
Third season. And so I know you've coached some really good programs and come in and really have done well and good jobs. And Alma Bryant has a history of strong programs in the past, but I know when you came in, when you're coming into a situation that kind of building a program here and trying to kind of reconnect with your feeder patterns with Grand Bay and Alba, correct?
I think that's right. I think here in Mobile it's very important to establish that relationship with the feeder patterns. There seems to be a lot of movement of kids, so you definitely want to work on keeping your own kids. And I think when you're showing to play other teams and on their roster as kids that at one time came through your feeder program, you need to be cognizant of that and keep that in the back of your mind as far as what you can do to keep your own kids. That seems to be key here in the Mobile area. So that's something we've tried to do. The first year, my first year, I felt like we were making headway. We won 3 ball games. We were in 2 other ones. Last year, we just couldn't get anything to go our way, whether it was injuries or turnovers or whatnot. This year, we started off against Davidson. I thought our kids played really well. Davidson's a very, very good football team, very well coached.
Yes.
So we came out on the short end of the stick. And then this past Friday night, we did not play our best against MGM. That's just going to happen. It's one of those times. I think for us, what we need to understand is we're in a very talented league, and the teams are very well coached. And so I think we have to recognize the fact that we have to play a very clean football game. Sometimes when you're on the short end of the stick, talent level wise, penalties and turnovers are key. They really are. Assignment football, alignment assignment football are key. So we have to play a cleaner game than the folks we're playing, and we have to play hard every play. And we have to do that in order to have a chance to be competitive. If we don't do those things, it's going to be an uphill battle for us. So that's something that we're trying to get to that point to where we all are on the same page with that.
And I think you brought a good point there, and the tale of 2 games so far this season, where we were talking about playing Davidson and really 7-0 ball game going into the third quarter, but then still having an opportunity to close that gap right there in the fourth quarter.
5 minutes left in the ball game. It's 17-6. We fumbled the ball on the half-yard line going in. So that's with 5 minutes left. Yeah, that could have been 17-14. We'd missed the field goal earlier to cut the score. So, but when you're dealing with high school kids, and I tell the kids this all the time, I tell my assistant coaches all the time, lots of times it comes down to 5 or 6 plays. A turnover is bad enough, but when you turn the ball over and then you don't respond well, what I like to term as emotional toughness, and you've been playing well on defense all night long, but we're down a little bit because we just turned over the ball and then we give up a touchdown. It's a double-edged sword. So it takes points off the board for us and it puts points on the board for them. And we just have to find a way to where we don't let that happen. First of all, we don't want to turn over football. But if we do, we have to be emotionally tough enough that we're still going to play the same standard of defense we were playing before the turnover occurred.
Right. And I agree 100%. It's so much. Everybody thinks football being such a physical, demanding sport, and it is. Mm-hmm. But it's also just as mental.
Oh, without a doubt, it's a roller coaster ride.
It is.
And kids are very emotional, and everything is instant these days. With the social media and the cell phones, all this stuff, and kids know on certain plays. There's going to be a lot more attention drawn on them as far as what can be put out there on film and things like that. Years back you didn't have to worry about that.
That's right.
When you look at some of these social media sites now, of course it highlights the youngsters, which we want. It helps them in the recruiting process. But for instance, if a wide receiver makes an awesome catch for a touchdown, well, that really helps that wide receiver. But that one defensive back might also be getting recruited. On the other side, kids are aware of these things. And it just seems like these days, the emotional roller coaster rides a little bit higher and has steeper downfalls than it used to.
Well, and that's one thing that I think has been put on coaches this year, or not this year, just over the past, 5-10 years, has been having to deal with social media because, you have to teach the kids now about social media. Mm-hmm. You have to teach them what's right, what's wrong, And to me, even more importantly, social media has become such an individualized platform where you preach teamwork, 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 but all like a lot of times what you see on social media is the individual. And you know, it's really a difficult situation to have that platform. Like you said, it can be used for good things, but it also a lot of times contradicts a lot of things that you preach when you're talking about teamwork and team first concept, but then it's such an individualized platform out there.
I think it's a very accurate summary. You know, these days, I remember when it first started coming out a lot, I didn't really address it. If you don't address social media these days, you're inviting problems with your football program. It's just that simple.
I agree.
And you have to address it with the kids. You have to address it with the young coaches.
I agree.
You get coaches out of college now. You have to understand, we didn't have this stuff when we were going through high school and college, but they've grown up with it. And like, football is an emotional sport. So, you know, we tell the kids all the time, you know, don't put something out there. And that's number one, it's positive. And you know, and it's also accurate. Right. And also it's not disrespectful toward anyone, any other school, any other individual and things like that. But that's something, you know, that's not going to change. That's not going back. It's
and social media is such a reactionary platform. People want to use it as a quick reaction to whatever took place instead of saying, wait a minute, let me think about this before I put something out there.
I think it's easier for them to push a button on their cell phone than it is. I think if they were to respond verbally, I think it'd be quite different lots of times. But it's all over. You know, it's college. You know?
That's right.
I mean,
it's pros.
I started out in college, and and it's, you know, just well, look at the situation.
That's right. That's what I mean.
Raiders,
you know,
with the Brown, you know, so it is what it is.
Yeah, so. and I know it's just. That's just one example of how things have evolved, especially over the years. Number of years you've been involved. I mean, you see a lot of changes.
Oh yeah.
And it really is a changing game, mentally and physically, of what it is. I know you probably grew up in an area of smash mouth football, grinded out. Who's the tougher guys? And they were talking about on TV yesterday in the pros. You know, you got third down on the 1 yard line, and you still have a 5 wide, 4 wide set.
Yeah.
You know, when do you hardly ever see that?
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's evolved to that, of course. And I can remember being at a program over a decade ago where we didn't get underneath the center, and it was just something that we practiced all the time. We were very efficient at it. So if we were on the 1 yard line, we'd have been in the shotgun set too. And I remember thinking that during those times how to get to this point. Because, you know, in earlier days that wouldn't have occurred.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you and appreciate you coming on this morning. We got to go to break, but good luck this year.
Thanks for having us, Brad. We appreciate it. Okay.
And see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. We'll be back.
It's a fact. Bullying happens. Bullying can lead to serious physical and emotional pain. But there are some things you can do to prevent or stop it. Stand up for the person who's being bullied. Let the bully know that it's not cool to pick on others. Take action by reporting the bully to a teacher or principal. In the end, when you help someone who's being bullied, you are also helping yourself.
I believe my child's school is probably one of the best ones I could have picked in Mobile. She's in the PACE program. The teachers are phenomenal. The principal, couldn't ask for a better principal. The research that I had done myself, I believe the quality of education in Mobile County Public School System is excellent. For me and my child, I'm going to stick with the public school system. I think it's the way to go.
All right, welcome back to our show. We're here with Coach Griffin, the boys basketball coach at Elma Bryant. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, I know you're new to Mobile County this year, so tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you came from and how you ended up at Elma Bryant.
Well, I started actually, started right here in Mobile with Coach Charlie Ship. He gave me my first opportunity was coaching, and then I was able to get a chance in Fruitdale out in Washington County. I coached there for 6 years, had a little success, and Miss Roper Smith granted me the opportunity to coach at my alma mater at Hillcrest Evergreen. Had a lot of fun there, great couple good years, and I was able to come back home. I was, commuting back and forth, and when Bryant came up, a place that I was very interested in, Mr. Elston, Coach Williams, gave me the opportunity, and just came on in, and now I'm here.
So it was a way to get back to Mobile.
Yeah, it was a way to get back to Mobile. Yeah.
So it sounds like you had some pretty successful stops at Fruitdale and then at Hillcrest Evergreen. And so, coming to Alma Bryant, now you're stepping up to the 7A area. And so I know you guys will be kind of getting started a little bit in October, getting into start really playing in November. What are what are y'all doing right now to get prepared, and what is the outlook for your team, and a little bit about the area, what you got, the teams that you have to compete against?
Yeah, we working out in the weight room, trying to do a lot of mental stuff, just get our mind right. The area is pretty good. Of course, Baker made the run all the way, had to play against that monster Mountain Brook, but Theodore, great coach team, Davison, MGM, ton of talent. So we're gonna have our work cut out for us, but we definitely trying to find us an identity. Coaching staff that's at Bryant, man, to me, it's just unbelievable to see how everybody works, and it pushes me to make sure my program is working. It's like Ms. Hargett, she's tough on those girls, but they respond, and just learning, just seeing how everybody interact out there, kind of shapes and puts us in the right direction what we're supposed to be doing.
Well, how's your response with the players have been since you've come in and kind of took over?
I'm pretty good. I mean, I think you say I'm pretty much a laid-back coach. They gave me an opportunity to get an assistant, Coach Michael Logan. He's super excited. The nephew of Coach Godfrey, that used to be at Alabama, and very knowledgeable, very resourceful, and just bring that energy every day. So that helps me out a lot.
Are you big on the weight room?
We make sure we hit it 3 times a week. I've got big on it as we go. Didn't have these type facilities where I was, but nice facilities at Alma Bryant now, and
kind of taking advantage of.
Yeah, taking advantage. We got a great strength coach, Coach Tidwell, and we go down and he's on it, and all I have to do is just come in and just be kind of like cheerleader, and we just push the boys, and after that we go back and do some more mental stuff in the gym.
And you mentioned your area and the competition that you had to play, and like you said, with Theodore and Davison and Baker, MGM, Baker did make that big run. I think they it kind of came out of nowhere. They got hot at the right moment. Basketball is such a momentum sport too.
Yeah.
So with basketball, you pretty much play the season in preparation for the area tournament.
That's
correct?
That's right. That's how I try to approach it. I've been telling my guys like that ever since Fruitdale. I said, man, stop. Looking at the scoreboard. We want to be good in January.
That's right.
Stuff gonna happen, but in January we want to be good, and that's what we're gonna try to push toward.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, kind of like very similar to baseball, but yet a little different. Other than you want to be better on the back end than you want to do to start off the year.
Yes,
you don't
sir.
want your best basketball to be in November.
Right.
You want to get hot at that right time and play. What's been kind of the major difference that you've seen so far between being at Hillcrest Evergreen and being at Alma Bryant?
Well, I mean, obviously Hillcrest Evergreen is we have a ton of talent, athletic ability up there. Not as athletic as Alma Bryant, but man, these kids, I cannot beat them to the gym. I can't beat them to the weight room. They always there, so I know. They want to be good, and so that's kind of the difference.
Yeah, and I was talking to Coach Hargett earlier about having the ability to kind of interact too with Grand Bay and Alba, your middle school feeder programs. I know that's important probably to get involved with.
Yes,
too.
sir. Yes, sir.
Do you have you started building those relationships yet?
I talked with the coaches when I got there in May. I went over there and met the coaches. I haven't had a chance to get with them early on this year because everything just been like so fast. But yeah, my plan is definitely to get those kids early. I want to get them even earlier than 6th, 7th grade. I want to get them 4th and 5th grade. So
That's right.
So we can keep them.
Well, and that's really important. I think a lot of people don't realize, building relationships.
Yes, sir.
With the kids and with the coaches, especially in your feeder patterns in the elementary school. I mean, you even talked about not just middle school, but even getting down into the elementary program. If you can build those relationships with those kids and parents, that can make or break, kids from coming to your program.
That's right. That's right.
There's so many schools and private schools and other schools in Mobile, and we were talking about that with Coach Hain. You have to kind of recruit your own kids, and that's a big part of building a program. So how do you feel? Are you going to be a young team this year? You got a group of big senior class?
I said we'll be fairly young. She'll have 2 seniors coming back. But pretty much experienced. We got some players that's been playing varsity since 9th grade. But I would say we'll be kind of young.
What's your style? Are you a half court guy? You a fast pace?
Kind of want to give it away, but
I understand.
Nah, I mean,
or just kind of adapt to the players that you have.
Yeah, you kind of got to adapt. Definitely, we're trying to be scrappy.
Yeah.
We want to compete. We want defense to be our anchor.
Sure.
First off, and yeah, we gotta do some different stuff.
Right.
We gotta do some different stuff. We gotta do stuff to help each other out. We gotta make each other better. We just can't go out there and focus on this person. We're gonna have to help each other out.
I love you said defense. I'm a defensive guy too. When I was coaching football, but I mean, it don't matter what sport.
That's right.
Defense is where it is.
That's right.
Best offense is your best defense.
That's right.
So I think it's really good to have that type of mindset and philosophy to be great on defense because everything else will come. And you watch the championship teams and people that really compete at a high level. I mean, those teams seem to always be great on defense.
Yeah.
You think you have a lot of guys? Seems like, and a lot of defense is just being coachable and gritty, right?
That's right. You gotta want to. I've seen some good teams, especially past 3 years. Got knocked in the mouth a couple times by Plainview, and a lot of people, they just say, oh, they shoot the ball well, but their defense was solid. Right. It was hard to score on those guys, and I talk to Coach Coker every now and then. We bounce some stuff off each other, so definitely, yeah, I've seen it.
Well, Coach, we got to stop here, but I want to thank you for coming in. Welcome back to Mobile County.
Thank you.
And I know you're really looking forward to the season, and good luck this year.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that'll conclude our show, and we'll be back next week.